I was at a dinner party where the other guests were friends who knew each other well, and I was a bit of an outsider. The conversation ranged over their holidays in Italy, the policies of a disliked government minister, funny cove, can't remember his name, and the artwork of one of the guests. At some point, one of the guests, without change of voice or emphasis, just slipped into the conversation this statement. He was feeling very pessimistic indeed about climate change, and that it was probably too late to do anything about it now. Another spoke briefly about the fragility of the food supply chain. There were one or two murmurs of agreement, but then the conversation moved on again to how best to ride a bicycle while carrying a cello. I was struck by the enormity of the topic raised, the speed at which it was dispatched, the silence of the others present, and the apparent need to bypass the comments as soon as possible and get back to ordinary conversation. Not to mention my complicity in all this by not inviting the speaker to say more. The moment was soon gone. So what I want to do is to offer some languaging that can change the world. And in particular, what I'm offering is a meme, and the meme is we. We or why. And it's short for whole intelligence. And there are some things that are just non-we. They don't make sense. They don't resonate deeply with us. They don't feel right. And what I'm suggesting is that at the center of all of these, and they all connect to one another, as in this diagram, all the 5 explorations link together, and I'll say more about that in a moment. But when they all work together, that is a high we moment. And my sense is that we need this kind of languaging and making a statement in order to bring about the order of magnitude of change that's required. It is a way of thinking that has to change. We have to start believing that it's possible to think in positive ways that unsettle the assumptions that we are saturated with. Well, what about, what would you do with the dinner party situation? Here are people who are terrified to encounter something that's too big for them. What would you do? Well, I would, and I haven't rehearsed this, so I'm going to let the question just sit with me, so this is completely live. I haven't thought this through. But what would I do? I think I might start by saying, I wonder whether I could come in here. It seems to me that what Charles has said is incredibly important, and we could easily gloss over it. And which would be interrelating, right? Would be moving in that direction, seeing how to connect to them. I wondered, actually, at a feeling level, how we all feel about what he said, because I imagine we're already thinking about those things ourselves. The embody. Silence. I wonder, and now I'm conscious, I say to them, I'm conscious that this is a dinner party and we're getting into very deep material here. It may not be appropriate for us to talk about it, but on the other hand, it doesn't seem right for us to just to let the comment go, because actually it affects all of us responding to the situation. And I wonder whether, in fact, maybe we could all say, how do we deal with this? How are we facing this? I know that's unusual, but let's try it. Experimenting. And then it would be a case of following, which experimenting is all about. It's being in the here and now. We can only experiment in the here and now. We can only make changes in the here and now. We can't change what has happened, and we don't know what's in the future, and we can plan to change something in the future, but actually until the moment comes, we can't change. So it might be, what would need to happen here for us to bring about a bigger effect than just sitting around a dinner table? Are you interested? Do we want it? That would be an expansion, or a deepening, or a widening of the frame of experimenting. And including now the responding to the situation, the global situation, or the situation of what happens when a group of people sit around a table and discover they have something in common. Well, we might include other people. We could set up a group to discuss this and start sharing our feelings. Okay. And so on.